and this is my husband Greg, and we started Wild Blue Yonder Farm in 2016. After 20 years in the military, we decided that farm life was the way to go.
A big part of permaculture and the way we like to do things is we don't want to enforce our will on nature. We took the small footprint that was already established when we bought the property, and we work with it. We work with whatever nature has, the trees that are existing. We don't want to clear cut a bunch of trees, the hills, the sunny parts, the not so sunny parts.
It's a 30-acre piece of land. A lot of it had been forested, so one of the first things we did was have a forester come out and assess the health of our forest. And basically he told us to just not touch anything. We had some ash trees that needed to come down because the ash borer beetle had, and still is, taking out some of our ash trees, so that provides firewood for us. There were cleared areas from when the house was built. The topsoil was scraped away, and there just wasn't anything left but sandy, loamy, really crummy, really crummy soil.
The ducks and chickens give us the manure and compost that we've needed to get the soil healthy. It's taken us a while.
So we started out, I wanted a bed and breakfast, and that was about 8 chickens, which we started out with in 2013, and that grew to about 106 chickens, mainly for egg sales because the demand was so high, but that created so much compost to sustain our garden. I mean, that was a huge amount.
And the ducks, manure is one of the only manures that you can use right away. And they love it. I've grown pepper plants that are over 5 feet tall.
Taller than me.
And they just produce insanely well. So we've really been able to incorporate our animals into our farm. We like to believe that there's no freeloaders here on the farm. The chickens and ducks are more than just for eggs. They provide us eggs, they'll provide us meat, insect control, they break down compost,
leaf litter.
They provide manure, which goes into the compost and then on the garden, weed control. So they've got a lot of jobs. Our dogs even, we took bird dogs and we taught them to protect the chickens and the ducks, and they've saved some of our birds from predators, coyotes, fox, hawks, and then the cats, of course, are rodent control. So everybody's got a job here.
It just makes sense. I mean, we're not telling the chickens to make manure so we can put it on the garden, but we know that that's one of the things that they provide. And I don't know, it's not easy, but it is easier than working against nature. We've got chickens from our first batch in 2013 that we have 3 of them left. Even though they're probably not laying eggs anymore, they're still doing all those things. They're still bug control and creating the compost and cutting down the leaf litter, and even down to the smallest thing that you wouldn't really even think about, like just having heritage breed chickens that are going to be around for a while, has made a huge difference.
And we've adapted over the years to the breeds that we want. Being flexible, you've got to kind of do that across the whole farm. Our chicken tractors for our meat chickens, we went from the flat Joe Salatin style to a little lighter, more vertical, where I don't have to crawl around, to get the chickens out. And even where we have the meat chickens, we didn't initially plan on putting meat chickens down there. That was going to be our kind of forest gardening orchard, berry patch. And then we were going to run the meat chickens through there. That was another change. And then we decided, well, that wasn't going to really work out, trying to weave these tractors in between all the bushes and trees. Now what we do is we cut the area in half, and we'll run the meat chickens on half of it, and then we plant the other half of the area with squash or something like that likes a lot of sun because it gets full sun out there. And then the next year we swap it. Another thing that we have really started doing over the last couple of years is growing things vertically. That allows us to plant more on a smaller footprint. We initially started just with our tomatoes, and then it cucumbers and the green beans, the vining squash. We're starting to grow our potatoes vertically in potato boxes. In the fall, when Libby tells me to go out and grab some potatoes for dinner, I just take one frame off, clear away the dirt, and there's usually enough potatoes there for dinner, while the other ones are still protected by the soil in the lower frames.
Stack old deck boards that we had from redoing our deck. My Herb's house, it was a half of a greenhouse. That was just a dirt area or nothing really special about it. But to get that ready, we dug down and then doing the hugelkultur principle of logs, like large logs first, and then smaller sticks and branches on top of that, and then compost material on top of that, and then some dirt actually on the very top. So the logs and the sticks and the compost will break down, creating nutrient-rich soil in there over the years. Yeah, and then the water part in there, I have a PVC pipe that I'm going to put little sprayer nozzles in, and I'll just hook the hose up to that. It's a horrible place to grow anything else, but if I can keep it warm enough and light enough over there, then I think that's going to be where I grow my herbs.
I mean, there's a bunch of different things that we've done. The idea is good, just not always where we decide to put it. Once again, you got to work with Mother Nature, and where you think something will work out, Mother Nature changes your mind. With Mother Nature, one thing we've had to deal with a lot is predators. So we've tried putting flashy things up around in the trees. Hawks and eagles really don't like owls. So we started putting a bunch of owl decoys out, and I don't think we lost a single bird to a hawk last year. We didn't want to destroy nature, and just kill everything. We love the possums around. We love the skunks around.
We don't love the raccoons.
We don't love the raccoons. The fox are fun to see occasionally.
Yeah. And they're pretty weird.
Right. We don't love the coyotes either,
and they don't come up to the house, really.
But they're, because of the dogs,
Yep.
They really don't come up to the house and mess with the chickens.
We introduced 3 pawpaw trees to our forest area. Pawpaw trees being native to North America. I've not had a pawpaw fruit before, so.
Neither have I. And we've used, goji berries and honeyberries and that sort of thing to kind of border areas.
Hardy kiwi.
Hardy kiwi growing up our garden fence. Right outside our house, in some of the closer areas around the deck, we have currants, we have gooseberries. Yeah, we have some pretty things, but the majority of what we like to plant can be used as edibles also.
And some of them I'm finding are weeds to other people, and I leave them. They're good, like St. John's wort. I've got a ton. Got a sorrel, fleabane, mallow. Holy moly.
Yeah, we weed our garden and we just munch as we go.
But it's funny, it's like, this stuff just grows. It just grows here. I'm not from Michigan, so being from Seattle, we have different weeds, if you will. And my mom did make us pick dandelion leaves when I was younger. So I will say that. We did like the dandelions, but nasturtiums are great. Yeah, the sumac. People are like, what do you do with sumac? And it's good in Middle Eastern cooking too, which I'm learning right now. It's like, you just look around. There's a gazillion things that most people would think are a nuisance. But.
Like I say, you're just trying to work with nature, work with what you're given.
Yeah, I think I am hoping that what we're doing here, well, I know so far it's actually been a huge improvement on what the land was before, but say, if we keep this in, maybe it'll be a centennial farm someday, but if it's even 20 years from now, this place is going to be completely different from what it is today, and it's only going to be better, I think, for what we've done to it. So that makes us feel good.
And if we can do our little part and teach others how to do the same thing and how to work with nature and build their own little permaculture projects, it's that much better too.